Hey everyone, how's it going? We are live with a recap of AEW Collision for July 8th, 2023. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. Much love and appreciation for your viewership and support. AEW continuing the Owen Hart Tournament in Canada. Let's get right into this recap. We kicked off the show with Mr. Collision himself, CM Punk. CM Punk came down to ringside, cut a promo on the outside of the ring. CM Punk hyped up his main event match against Samoa Joe, and Punk brought up Stampede Wrestling, how it was Stampede Country, making reference to the Hart family. He said that this match is the biggest match of his career. It feels like the finals of the tournament, him versus Samoa Joe, even though it was the semifinal match. He did put over Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. He said history was going to be made and that something even bigger than the participants is Owen Hart. He wanted the fans to chant Owen Hart's name, and that's what they did. Crowd was into CM Punk this week. It's been a mixed bag since he returned, but they did chant Owen Hart, and easy way for CM Punk to get a pop by mentioning Owen Hart. Then CM Punk said that if it wasn't for Owen Hart, a lot of the locker room would be empty, and they would not be where they were without Owen Hart. Okay. I love Owen Hart as much as the next guy. Legend, excellent performer. But I do not think I would go that far to say that a lot of the locker room would not be there without him. I know it's a nice thing to say, but a lot of the locker room would not be there without a guy like Hulk Hogan or even a Steve Austin in modern times, because Austin reinvented what wrestling was and Hulk Hogan put it on the map. With all due respect to Owen Hart, he was a great wrestler, but to say that he was a big reason that a lot of the people in wrestling today are doing it, I would say that that's stretching it a little bit. I think it's more accurate to say, if you're going to say that somebody who was a great wrestler influenced a lot of the current generation, Shawn Michaels would probably be a more noteworthy name to mention. Owen was great though. And I know where CM Punk was going with this. He was trying to put over Owen and get the crowd hyped up. But yeah, typical wrestler, stretching it just a little bit. By the way, quick plug for good old JM Jeff Meacham. Jeff, I had some trouble getting that graphic for you, but he will be doing open mic night over on the Jeff Meacham Network right after this. So head over to Jeff Meacham Network, and thank you to Jeff and the Jeff Meacham Network for their watch along coverage that was also part of the No DQ live stream on Friday night. So thank you again to Jeff and everybody involved with that. Now, let's get to our first match of the evening, which was Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks in the semifinal of the Owen Hart Tournament. Winner will go on to face either CM Punk or Samoa Joe, and more on that result in just a little bit. We had a back and forth match here with these two, and of course, they have the history being in the Team Taz faction. Hobbs delivered some punishment, and then Starks started to make a comeback, although he botched a tornado DDT attempt, and he started to build up momentum. And then QT Marshall grabbed the foot of Starks. Will Hobbs took advantage of this with a spine buster. Referee was distracted, though, arguing with QT Marshall. Hobbs was not happy about this because he had the match won and QT was having the referee distracted. Ricky Starks was able to recover and delivered his spear, got the 1-2-3 over Will Hobbs. Now, after the match was over, we had QT trying to talk things out with Hobbs. Hobbs ended up turning babyface by shoving QT down. Aaron Solo got in the ring. He got taken out with the spine buster. And then Harley, whatever her name is, she got in the ring and shielded QT. And Hobbs, he's a gentleman. He will not put his hands on a woman. So he stormed out of the ring. And yeah, Will Hobbs lost the match, but looks like he's going in the babyface direction. Matthew says, please get Hobbs away from QT Jobber. Yeah, well, now Hobbs has some guys he can beat up. I'm fine with the babyface turn. Well, Hobbs, a likable guy. I think they can make it work. Match was good. I was a little surprised that Hobbs lost. I thought it was going to be him and CM Punk in the finals. But yeah, Ricky Starks wins, and he'll go on to that final match. More on the outcome of the second match in just a little bit. We had a video promo from Miro. He's only been back a few weeks and he's already doing these again. Like, can't he just go out there and win some squash matches? Why does he have to go back to doing these, I'm the Redeemer and I'm mad at my God, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's the same old Miro promo. He's ready to fight everyone and nobody can hurt a man that has nothing left to love. I mean, come on now. Let's do something different here. Like, they're right back to where they were with him before he left. I mean, they need some kind of story with him, I think. We had Willow Nightingale interviewed backstage, and she was supposed to face Athena in an Owen Hart Tournament match, but she was injured defending her New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Championship. And that's the downside to wrestlers in AEW doing all these other matches for other promotions. They risk getting hurt. Athena interrupted, did the whole heel shtick, and said that Willow was scared and just did not want to lose. And Willow said she still plans on winning their match coming up at Rampage. We had a video package hyping up the Blood and Guts match coming up in a few weeks in Boston. And then we had Giulia Hart with Brody King, basically a squash match here against a local talent, local wrestler. Giulia made short work of her with a submission. Not much to say about it, just showcase match for Giulia Hart. We had a Malachi Black video promo about the Mask of Andrade, and Andrade was interviewed. Andrade was not happy about the disrespect from Malachi Black, claiming that Andrade hides behind his mask. Andrade said that's not the case. He's not a coward like Malachi. He said his mask is all about his family and about all Latin people. At least these guys have a story. At least Andrade's got something going on here right now. I feel like with Miro, they still really don't know what to do with the guy. And then we had our tag team title eliminator match, basically the opportunity to become number one contenders. We had Juice Robinson and Jay White versus FTR, and the stipulation was that the stipulation was that Bullet Club Gold would not get another opportunity at the titles if they lost this match, as long as FTR remain champions. Long match here, and you always know I can tell you, you always know it's going to be a lengthy match when they do the long, drawn out, feeling out process in the beginning. And then once all four got in the ring, it started picking up. They brawled. Cash Wheeler got hurt in the process, and Bullet Club Gold worked him over for a while. Dax Harwood was sent into the barricade. Cash tried to fight them off, but he struggled. And then eventually, after another commercial break, we had 2 commercial breaks. Dax Harwood finally got in there, got the hot tag, started hitting all these big moves. And you kind of know how this is going down when FTR is getting in all this offense. Jay White keeps kicking out. Dax Harwood with the German suplexes, brainbuster. He did the superplex, and then Dash came off the top with the splash. Jay White kicked out from all this punishment. And then they did the spike pile driver. Juice broke it up. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Dax delivered the slingshot sit-down power bomb. White kicked out again. And at this point, considering how much offense FTR was getting in and just the nature of the match, like Juice Robinson and Jay White can never get a title match against FTR. Like, you kind of know they're winning this one. Dax and White were trading shots. Cash Wheeler got taken out with the Blade Runner. So it was basically 2-on-1. Juice tagged in, got the pin right before Cash could make the save. So yeah, there you have it. Bullet Club Gold get the opportunity. Really good match here. Great stuff from these guys. And there was more, because backstage, Juice and White were bragging about winning the match, and they challenged FTR to a 2 out of 3 falls match, and FTR accepted the match. Next week, 2 out of 3 falls. So we're getting another long match with these guys, and we'll see what they can do next week, if they could top this one. My guess is they probably will. Yeah, really good match here. Worth checking out. We had Scorpio Sky versus Action Andretti, and Andretti got no entrance whatsoever. He got what I call the jobber entrance. A couple months ago, didn't they make this big deal out of him, and he beat Chris Jericho, and everybody said this guy was going to be the next big thing, and it was the biggest upset in wrestling history. Well, now he's just basically enhancement talent. He did get in some offense, but I mean, this was a showcase match for Scorpio Sky. This was to build up Sky. They're not building up Andretti at this point. And yeah, Scorpio Sky got the win with the TKO, and then Scorpio Sky helped him up after the match. So I guess Scorpio Sky is a babyface at this point. Don't really care too much, but they're trying with him. They're trying to make something out of Scorpio Sky, and we'll see if it amounts to anything. And then we had our main event of the evening, which was CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, rematch from 19 years ago. And you have to think that not that many people saw that match. Like, this was Ring of Honor in 2004, when they were very under the radar, very indie promotion after all, just getting started, and wrestling wasn't exactly on fire during that period. So I really don't know how many people have actually seen those matches. And full disclosure here, I never actually saw their Iron Man match or 60-minute match, whatever they did. I never saw the match. Now, of course, these guys, 2 great personalities, and I like both guys a lot. I've always liked both of them. Good main event here. I still think that the tag match was the best match of the evening. It was good, though. It was a solid match with these guys, and Joe got the upper hand for a while, tried to choke out Punk, but Punk escaped, and then Punk did the big Macho Man elbow drop. Joe kicked out. Joe applied a crossface. Punk got his foot on the rope, and then Joe power slammed Punk. Punk kicked out. Punk avoided the muscle buster. And then Joe tried to apply the coquina clutch. Punk countered it with a roll through into a pin, basically a roll up, and got the 1-2-3 victory. CM Punk wins. No surprise here. After the match was over, crowd was chanting Owen Hart, and Joe went for the handshake. CM Punk gave him the benefit of the doubt, shook his hand, but, of course, Samoa Joe with the swerve, choked out Punk with a coquina clutch, went for a chair, but FTR ran down there to make the save, and then Ricky Starks appeared on the stage to, I guess, just get a better look at his opponent for the finals of the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament coming up next week. CM Punk versus Ricky Starks. Show overall was pretty solid, but again, like I mentioned the first week and the first couple of weeks actually, there just doesn't feel like a sense of urgency to watch these shows. The wrestling was really good, but there's nothing that's really hooking me into watching this, and I'm not talking about Hook the wrestler either. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, we need the Punk versus Elite feud already. Come on, Khan. I mean, I'm with you on that. We just need like a big angle, something where the people watching are like, oh my God, I need to tell my friends about this, and something that's going to create some buzz. Like just good wrestling matches isn't really going to cut it. Like it's solid if you're a diehard wrestling fan and you want to see good TV wrestling. It's a solid show to watch. I will give this show a B-, and I think most of it is due to the tag team match. But at the end of the day, I forgot this show was even on. Some of you might have noticed that I did not get the live stream set up until like about an hour before the show. I legitimately forgot Collision was on. And I actually had to really rush to get set up so I could actually watch the show in time. Like I almost missed the show completely and wasn't able to do this live stream tonight. Legitimately forgot about it. It's a good show, but it just doesn't feel like a must-see show so far up to this point. Oofman Entertainment, shout out to him. Sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Joe costs Punk the match next week. Starks go over. Punk versus Joe at Wembley. I think they already did the angle with Joe to set up a rematch with them. I really don't think that Punk versus Starks needs the outside interference. And I really think you're doing this Owen Hart tournament, and I do think it should be a clean win, whoever earns the trophy. And that's what CM Punk said during his promo, that he's going to earn the trophy. And I think you really got to just let it be a straight up match, and then you can do your angle afterwards. And Jeff, I did give my thoughts. For those of you that missed it, it is up on the YouTube channel now. I did upload a video with my thoughts on SmackDown. I did not do a live stream. I just recorded a video, uploaded it. It is on the channel right now. I think it was roughly a 20-minute video. So check that out if you missed it. Stone Cold Flea sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Says, my problem with Punk is obviously doesn't want to do this. If he got wins in UFC or Hollywood called him in 2015, he'd never wrestle again. I'm not sure that's the case with him. I really think he loves wrestling and wants to do it. Keep in mind, he was burned out with WWE. And whatever happened, and he walked away. He tried to do other things. And yeah, he did come back to wrestling, but I think I think it was the fact that AEW took off and built a strong reputation in a short period of time, and he even cited the tribute to Brody Lee. He was touched by that, and that motivated him to come back. And keep in mind that he was in talks for a while to come back to AEW, come back to wrestling and join AEW. Obviously, the pandemic delayed that because he wasn't going to come back with no fans or in a building with only 600 people like Daly's place. He was going to come back once crowds were allowed back into the arena. So I think him returning was already in the works, and there were little teases of it here and there. Like I think there was a time like maybe a year or two before return, maybe 2 years, where he wore a mask and did like a little indie appearance. So I think he was getting the bug several years before he actually wrestled again. Anyways, thank you so much for that super chat. Again, much appreciated. And thank you all for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and hopefully they can pick it up with Collision. I just feel like they're going to stick to doing what they're doing, which is just a good wrestling show, but I feel like they're going to struggle with viewers. And the question is, how low is it going to get with the numbers? And I'm saying this out of love. I want to see Collision succeed and stay on the air. But if the numbers keep dropping, at what point does Warner Brothers Discovery decide we could just go back to putting movies in that time slot and it's going to save us money? Like, what is that number? And at the rate things are going, I don't know if it's going to be financially worth it if Collision's numbers end up like dipping to 400,000. I just don't know. But yeah, I want to see the numbers up. I want to see the arenas packed. You know, they had a poor turnout for this show. They had like maybe 2,000 people. So it's a show that your most diehard fans that just want to see good wrestling, they're going to like it. But if they want to draw in more people, they're going to need more compelling stories and more character development and just something that's going to create some buzz. And so far they have not delivered on that. As good as the shows are in the ring, it's missing something. And I hope they can pick it up, because with each week that passes and they just do the same thing, people are going to be like, well, it's a good wrestling show, but I only have 3 or 4 hours a week dedicated to watching wrestling, so Collision's out. Like they got to do something if they want people to take it seriously as an A show. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Much love and appreciation to everybody out there. And just a reminder, check out good old JM Jeff Meacham over on the JM Jeff can't even talk right now. The JMN Network, Jeff Meacham Network. They're doing their open mic night. Check that out. And thank you all again. Stay tuned for the No DQ review. And of course, check out NoDQ.com for all the latest wrestling news and rumors. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.